What's going on, everybody? It's favorite dating coach Elliot Scott, and I have a different video or type of video format for you today. I had someone write in to me, email. I don't know how she got my email. She might have been a former client from back in the day, and she wrote to me asking what to do or why she's like this, and to summarize it, she was basically saying that she needs to be in a relationship. She needs the validation. She told me that when she gets into a relationship, it obviously doesn't work out. And then all of a sudden, when she's out of one, she gets anxious and she jumps back into another one right away. She doesn't give herself time to heal. And again, she know that's not. I mean, this is a problem. I'm telling you right now that this is the problem, but it's not what she was worried on. She was more worried about. It's not the fact that I'm jumping into a relationship. It's the fact that I need to be wanted. I need to feel wanted. I want to, help somebody, and I need it in return. I feel like I get that in relationships. And she wants to know why she's this way. And first off, before I jump into that, well, actually, no, I'm just going to jump right into it. There's several reasons you're that way, right? I'm going to start from the argument of probably insecurity and validation from something in your past. You probably have a complex. Now, I am no psychologist, therapist. I have not written any studies or big lengthy ass 100 page research papers on this, but you could ask anybody. It comes from a place of emptiness. It comes from a place of insecurity, validation, and things like that. And I know this to be the fact because it doesn't only happen to you or start with you. It's every single person in this world. See, we are so obsessed as an organism with the brains that we have, as smart as we are, right? Oh, look at that. As smart as we constantly are trying to fill a void. We are not perfect, but we are always striving to be. We are obsessed with completion, progression, perfection, the end result. And if we don't have it in ourselves, we're going to find someone who has it in us. And by doing that, we look at people, and in your example or your situation, you're going to look at you're wanting a relationship because you want to feel wanted. So once a guy gives you that blueprint, right, and he says, hey, basically he shows you a little interest, or shows you, hey, I like you too, you jump right onto that because you think that's the missing puzzle, the missing piece to your puzzle. Okay. But again, here's the problem with that. Number one, you are going to be your own worst enemy. Trust me on that. You are your own worst enemy because while things are going great in the relationship, a relationship is just a band-aid for a bigger problem. You're going to jump into it. Soon as signs change, and things always change. Soon as things change and you get signs, you're going to freak out. You're going to question. You're going to you're going to question him. You're going to seek again. Your way of feeling good is validation. Now, take it from me. I'm a hypochondriac, so I'm going to give you and I am a diagnosed hypochondriac. Okay, so I'm going to give you they call it illness anxiety. My personal experience. The doctors tell me, why are you looking online, dude? Why are you going to Dr. Google? And I tell them because I need validation that I don't have this and I don't have that. And they're like, does it help? No, it doesn't help. And I know it doesn't help because once you're going down the rabbit hole, and once you look something up, you look another thing up, or you question that thing, or and you start to try to play detective and put the pieces together, and then you're in a worse situation than you started. There's no difference with your scenario. You look for the validation, you don't find it, or you do find it, but you find something else and that unravels along the way, and it just drives you crazy. You're in your own head. You become your own worst enemy. It shows red flags. and it pushes the guy away. So you need to, and you know this, but you need to find a different way to. Now, I suggest you go to a therapist or you study stoicism, or that's what really helped me, stoicism, and things along that line. But you're going to create this vicious cycle of relationship damage, of going from one lover to another. That rhymes. Because you have not solved the underlying issue. Why are you seeking this validation from these guys? Why are you seeking these approval from these guys? And here's the thing, you have to look at things worst case scenario, just like me. Okay, you know what? Worst case scenario, you die. All right. If I, you die. And I know that's harsh for me to say because life is so precious. It's not like I want to kill myself or anything, but I mean, in your scenario, what I'm trying to say is it's just a guy. He's just a guy. Just a guy. There's nothing special about him. He has no answers that you cannot find yourself. You are just perceived, or you perceive the fact that relationships equal success, relationships equal happiness, when that is not the case. I know so many people in relationships who are unhappy. I know so many people who are in relationships that get divorced. I know so many people who are in relationships and don't even realize, I don't. I know because of what I do. My clients are in relationships and they're either having the affair or the guys had an affair. They're just so, you got to listen. And I tell my clients this all the time. Whenever you jump into a relationship, just like you do, whether you're healthy, whether you have a healthy complex towards it or not, you're always opening two doors and you're always looking at the negative door. When you want to love somebody, it could, the first door, it could be a great thing. Our love can last forever. We can get married and things like that. But you also open the back door, which is, well, we can be together forever, but we also can get hurt because, to get here, you have to become very vulnerable. You have to, I could get divorced, you get cancer and die, we could break up and I go over a heartbreak, or I have to go over a heart. You have to understand that you're always opening two doors. And with you, you're hoping to find the best, but you're keeping your foot in the back door, and the worst of the worst happens. You're going for the relationship for the wrong reasons, right? That's like you trying to get into a house just because you want to be in a house even though you can't afford it. You want to be in a house even though it's not in a good area, even though there's a lot of problems with the house. You don't do your homework. You just feel that my life is going to be better when I'm in a relationship, and that is not how you jump into a relationship. A healthy relationship starts with two healthy individuals. And I would argue that you're maybe not in the right, again, not a psychologist, but maybe not in the right mind of or reasoning of wanting to jump into a relationship. And I'm not just going to blame you. And I would argue that because of this, and this is something you got to remember, because of this, maybe the guy isn't the right, maybe you're attracting the wrong man, because if a guy can see you so vulnerable and he's a piece of shit himself who doesn't want to get turned down, is looking for an easy lay, and he knows that your barrier of entry is very low because you need the acceptance, there are going to be guys online who take advantage of that. So you have to remember, number one, he's just a guy. Number two, there's a lot of people in relationships who are miserable. So you don't look for a relationship in terms of, I want to be happy. And three, you have to understand that sometimes you're your own worst enemy, and then that jumping into these kind of things, to fill that void, which is natural. The filling the void thing is natural. You can't avoid that, but you do have to be aware of it. You have to be aware of the fact that maybe I'm not in the right mindset, to jump into a relationship, because I'm sure I'm attracting these shitty ass men. Now that's not your fault, that's their fault, but you can't help what all men think, right? Okay, that's his fault. This is a shitty guy who's probably has a small dick who's been played and cheated on plenty of times, so he wants to get his revenge on women. Who knows, right? Something like that. But you have to understand why you're the way you are. Validation, insecurity. Think about where it came from and understand that jumping into a relationship is not the way to feel better because you're relying on something that could be taken away from you. If I could summarize this in any way, you're relying on something that can be taken away from you. So you are given a gift when you're jumping into a relationship. That is someone's vulnerability, that's someone's heart, that's someone saying, okay, bam, that guy can leave any time. Do not put your happiness into something that can be taken away from you. Okay? That being said, ladies, I love you. Take care and peace.